Hi friends and welcome to day 6 of Vox Guru's 10-day workshop. Today we are going to talk about a very popular and a very important aspect that many of you have asked me about, how to sing high notes easily. And related to this, there are a few more questions also, like how to transition between chest voice to head voice, how to manage your vocal registers, how to sing without any breaks in the voice or without any strain, and so on. So, all these questions are pretty much related to each other. So, we will cover these topics today. And I will also give you an exercise that will help you handle your high notes better. So first, let's try to understand, why do we find high notes so difficult? What is so special about them? Now, there are mainly two reasons, or I would say two enemies when it comes to singing high notes. The first enemy is our mind, because our mind believes that high notes are a special category. They are very important, very difficult, and it makes us believe that high notes is as if we are climbing up something and we have to put in a lot more effort. So since the mind believes that, what happens, even before the high note comes in the song, automatically our body becomes very tight and tense. Our shoulders tighten up, our jaw becomes really stiff, our throat starts getting constrained, our breathing becomes very high, and everything just becomes chaotic the minute a high note comes, because we become so worried about it. So that is one of the first reasons. So we need to first continuously keep telling ourselves that a high note does not require extra effort. So now if I say that the external body should remain the same and the posture should be stable and all that, then how do we reach the high note? What do we change? The answer is that we have to change something on the inside. We have to change our vocal technique, we have to change our resonance, we have to change our tone as we move up. Now, actually, Indian music does not use a pure head voice. What is a pure head voice? It is similar to the sound of yawning, like, "Ah!" You would have heard this voice in the opera style of singing. So, only there we use the pure head voice. In Indian music, what we use is always a mixed voice. It is a mix of head voice and chest voice. So, whether we are singing low notes or high notes, it's always a mix. So, first of all, you need to get rid of the belief that, okay, until this note I will sing with chest voice, after that I will sing with head voice. No, there is no such break in Indian music, because our music has so much of a flow and so many curves and slides. There is no way you can clearly demarcate where I am singing with chest voice, where am I singing with head voice. If you start thinking like that, your singing will lose all its flow. So as you move from the lower notes to higher notes, you have to observe how your tone gradually changes. Okay, for example, Did you hear any chest voice, head voice, or transition, or any of that here? No. Because my entire voice was a mixed voice and I was only gradually, making a change. Now, I see many students having a notion that head voice is some sort of a negative thing. They think that head voice is like a false voice, or it is not something that should be used. So they are very adamant on using only their bass or chest voice to sing everything. And that also is half the reason for the strain. It is not humanly possible to sing, your entire range using that tone. You will end up sounding very strained and it'll not sound pleasant. So you need to remove these rigid notions from your mind. You may not be comfortable with it initially. It might sound weird. There are students who have told me that, initially when I use that tone, I find it really weird. It feels like it's not me. It feels like it's somebody else singing. That is perfectly fine. But you need to embrace it at some point. You need to get used to that tone. The more you sing with that tone, the more you will get used to it, and you will be able to nicely integrate it with the tone that you are comfortable with. So that is also a journey. So first of all, get rid of these notions that I will use only one tone, because otherwise your song will not have any life in it. There will not be any modulation. You will not be able to do anything unless you set your resonators free. So now let's do an exercise which will help us to smoothen our voice, as we go higher and higher. As I said, in Indian music, there are so many curves and slides, so we cannot imagine it as a separate chest voice and separate head voice. Okay, so this exercise will help us gradually change our tone as we go high. And do not think about this concept of chest voice, head voice while singing. It is good to know about it. It's good to conceptually know about it and to leave your internal system free. But don't overthink. Don't think, okay, this note I am in chest voice, now I am moving to this voice. Don't think about all those things. Just relax and let your body understand and let it move on its own. And as long as you don't create tension in your outer body, many things will happen on its own. Okay, so let's turn on the Tanpura. We will start with a lower Shruti, and we will keep changing our scale in this exercise. Okay, so we are going to start with F sharp. You can start with any scale which is very low for you, and then start going higher. So here we are going to slide from sa to pa, because sliding is very important. That is one of the main characteristics of Indian music, right? So we slide from sa to pa. We don't sing it straight like we don't do that. So slide as slowly as possible. Try to touch upon all the grace notes on the way. Now come back. So here you should observe your tone slowly changing, but do not increase your volume. Try to keep your volume constant between the lower note and higher note. Try not to put in more effort. Keep the effort and the volume constant. Only the tone will gradually, smoothly change. So do this like 10 times on each Shruti. Okay, so don't keep changing the Shruti very fast. Do it first in this Shruti. Each time you do it, it will become more and more smooth. Okay, because your voice also needs to get trained gradually. So just doing it once or twice will not help you. Do it 10-15 times on each Shruti. And after that, you can change the Shruti. Now we will go to G and do the same thing. So our boundaries are sa, pa. So next Shruti, G sharp. So my boundaries are so first always fix your boundaries. Then only you will be able to accurately slide from one note to another. Next Shruti. Next. Next. this manner, you can keep increasing your Shruti and work within that limited range of Sa to Pa. So this way our range is limited, but we are gradually increasing the Shruti. So that way your voice does not get suddenly shocked when you are trying to jump from a very low note to a very high note. So once you reach really high Shruti, then start coming down also. Go up to the lowest Shruti which you started with. It's very important to balance out the high notes and low notes. Only then the high notes will have a good quality. If you keep on working only in the higher range, your voice will get strained, and that is not going to help you also. So keep finding that balance. The more you are in touch with your lower notes, the more you will have strength and power in your voice. So keep finding that balance and work within a limited range so that your voice slowly gets smooth across different levels. So I hope you will practice this exercise and also keep in mind the points I mentioned earlier. You can also check out the voice culture course on the VoxGuru app. It has various exercises, warm-up exercises, cool-down exercises, and it gives you a good insight to the vocal registers, chest voice, head voice, mixed voice. So you will be able to explore new areas of your voice that you have not probably heard earlier, and you will start looking at your own voice with a totally new perspective. So do check out that course, and I'm sure you will find it effective. And keep practicing this exercise, and I'll see you tomorrow with the next episode. Until then, take care, stay home.